Good evening, everyone. The Indian food processing sector is called the sunrise industry for a reason and has emerged as a high growth and high profile sector. So, with this, I'd like to welcome you all to the exclusive course launch event on the following courses, which are as follows: the food laws course, the food IPR laws course, the food labeling laws. So, now we have with us Ms. Tanishka, who will be moderating the session. So, over to you, Ms. Tanishka.
Thank you, ma'am. Laws are like sausages. It's better not to see how they are made. A very good evening to all. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. We'll be launching and introducing our three major online certificate courses on food laws. The term food laws applies to legislation which regulates the production, trade, and handling of food and hence covers the regulation of food control, food safety, quality, and relevant aspects of food trade across the entire food chain. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the question box in the control panel. I'll bring them up during the presentation, and we will also have time for questions at the end. Now, without any further delay, let us start with the brief introduction of organizing organizations of the webinar. Established on 2nd October 2012, Dr. Vijay Foundation is a non-profit organization working in the field of health, education, environment, livelihoods, and advocacy and empowerment. With Dr. Vijay Singh as the president and Mr. Raj Singh Niranjan as the trustee, the organization has achieved milestones in uplifting rural India. It is engaged in the field of education through the Dr. Vijay Foundation School in rural areas. It also offers various vocational courses and specialized online food law courses throughout India, enabling aspiring food sector professionals to gain an in-depth understanding about food laws.
Let me now introduce you all about our next organizing organization, TILA. Trans India Law Associates is the associated knowledge partner. Trans India Law Associates, TILA, is a multidiscipline, full-service law firm providing a range of legal services both inbound and outbound. It is the largest firm in the world in terms of food sector. What started as a simple legal practice in 1984 is today a global provider of food laws and solutions. Its services in over 723 districts across India is supported by 10,786 professionals, 51 global legal partners, and 9 representative offices all over the world. Ayushi ma'am, can we have the poll now?
Sure. So I'll be launching the question for the poll now. So the poll question is that what is the expected size of the industry by 2025? I'd request all the participants to mark your answer.
Ma'am, can we did any kind of guess whether wrong, right or wrong?
Yeah, definitely. You all have to guess, and you can just mark it in the poll itself.
So what is the expected size of food industry by 2025? Is this correct?
Yes, so that is the poll question. So now I'll end the poll in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'll end the poll now. So, Raj sir, as we can see that there are different answers, shall I just share the results?
Oh, that's wonderful. So 11% have said that the food industry by 2025 will be of 200 billion in India, and 13% feel that it will be 300 billion. 50% feel that it will be 400 billion. But the right answer is 523 billion. So 26% have, given right answers. This is the size of food industry in India by 2025. So effectively, जितना भी food production होता है USA में, so 60% of the food production of USA is processed. In China, the amount of food processed is 30%. India may today, the food processed is only 10% actually. So effectively, this will be the fastest growing industry. It will grow faster than IT sector. So back to you, Ayushi.
Okay. So Tanishka, can we move ahead?
Yes, ma'am. Well, Ashwina, now as during this pandemic, we can see how everything has shifted virtually. So what do you think about these online courses? Are they beneficial? If yes, then please enlighten us.
Yes, Tanishka, you're absolutely right. Due to this pandemic, there has been a rapid increase in the online courses. These online means of knowledge have been a boon in these tough times. Let me make you all familiar with some of the benefits of these online courses. Online courses allow anyone sitting anywhere to learn a new set of skills or to brush up the existing skills. Also, learning new skills adds and enhances your abilities to do a task more effectively. In addition, in addition to this, employers will also value more if you take time to brush up your skills and keep yourself updated. Now, talking particularly about the law courses, this course increases one's knowledge as these courses are specific to one particular area of law. So the course outline is specific to law, and even the lectures and books are made of those people who are expert in this field. So all the participants can get the detailed analysis of the topic.
Well, having said this, Ashwina, you have satisfied us with all the major benefits of online courses.
Well, Tanishka, since now we are talking about the online courses, Dr. Vijay Foundation has been working in the food sector for a very long time. So can you please enlighten us all with some points on food sector and food laws?
Yes, Dr. Vijay Foundation is quite experienced in the food sector. India's food and grocery market is the sixth largest in the world. Indian food sector is a high growth sector with immense potential for value addition. It is expected to touch US dollar 482 billion by 2020. The food processing industry in India accounts for 32% of the country's total food market and 14% of the manufacturing GDP. The term food law applies to legislation which regulates the production, trade, and handling of food. The aim of the General Food Law is to protect the public health and consumers' interest in relation to food. The regulation applies to all stages of production, processing, and distribution of food and feed the exception of domestic activities.
Great, Tanishka. It was good to know about the food sector and food laws.
Well, now I'll introduce all of you to Niranjan. Raj Singh Niranjan is the managing partner of Trans India Law Associates, the largest law firm in the world in energy sector. Mr. Niranjan vision and leadership have led Tila to become the fast growing Indian owned law firm in the world and also legal advisor to International Solar Alliance, the first UN intergovernmental body to have headquarters in India. Panelist 2, Dr. Lalita R. Gowda. Her professional experience as a research scientist with specialization in the areas of structural biology of plant proteins, protein engineering, and analytical biochemistry and food safety, including grassroots work, academic activities, consultation, and positions of institutional leadership span over 3.5 decades. Post-retirement, her passion for achieving the highest standards, knowledge, dissemination, and teaching still remain. Leveraging her vast experience and expertise, she continues to be diligently involved in various aspects of food safety and quality assurance. Panelist 3, Dr. Mamta Mishra. Dr. Mishra believes that research should not stay in laboratories or research documents, but reach the community for betterment of the society. Her interests lie in engineering creative solutions by leveraging information technology and business intelligence in the areas of nutrition, food science, and specifically food safety. Her journey in the food, nutrition, and safety began in 2002 when she noticed a lack of exchange of knowledge between the scientific community and the industry. Let us now look at a video on food laws.
Sure, Tanishka. So now I'll just share the video. Hope you all will enjoy it.
On food laws for students and professionals. The duration of the course is 3 months. Scientists, managers working in the food processing units and farmer producer companies or law, management, agriculture student, professionals, lawyers, CA, CS, anyone else who wants to excel in food laws. It would be a great opportunity to enhance your network as you would be interacting with industry experts. The fee structure is as follows: scientists and managers rupees 9,000, professionals rupees 9,000, law agriculture management student rupees 7,000, international candidates USD 290. What's in the course? Module 1, Introduction and Background for Food Laws. Module 2, Food Production Laws. Module 3, Food Processing Laws. Module 4, Food Safety and Consumption Laws. Module 5, Intellectual Property Rights for Food, Production, Processing, Consumption. Module 6, Food Issues in India and Landmark Judgments. The course is recognized by Niti Aayog. The course takes place 4 times in a year: January to March, April to June, July to September, and October to December. The eligibility to get the certificate is to secure 40% marks out of monthly report submission and final exam, 3 monthly assignments of 10 marks each, and a final exam which consists of 70 MCQ questions. Why you should enroll? Something which is not available in any other platform ever. Ample scope of expansion of food sector in future. Last but not the least, knowledge is power.
Okay, so Tanishka, I think that was a very wonderful video. Can we just move ahead?
Sure, ma'am. Ashwina, can you let us all know about the DVF training calendar?
Sure, Tanishka. Let me now brief you all about the DVF training calendar. The calendar comprises of 4 parts. Coming on to part 1. Part 1 of the calendar talks about the flagship course, which includes the Food Online Certificate course. It is the most basic course that talks about the relevant laws in the food sector and gives a brief idea about these laws. This course runs throughout the year, and the last date for the admission of this batch is 15th June 2021. Along with this, a monthly live interactive session of 60 minutes will also be provided. Next, we have the part 2 of the calendar. Part 2, which talks about the advanced course, which includes the Advanced Food Laws Online Certificate course. This course is open to a large number of people all over the industry. Members, chairpersons, CEOs, founders, promoters, directors, and any expert with not less than 20 years experience in agriculture food sector can apply for the same. Apart from this, a 100-minute live interactive session on monthly basis shall also be held with this course. Part 3. Part 3 of the calendar provides the specialized courses. That is, number 1, Food IPR Online Certificate course, and number 2, Food Labeling Laws Online Certificate course. My colleagues will further discuss these courses in detail. Now moving to the last part of the calendar, Part 4 of the calendar includes special trainings and workshops. These are specially designed courses according to the need of the organization. Under this, any relevant topic as per the need of the organization is suggested or recommended by the HRD, Personal Department of Food Company, or the agricultural PSUs as per the requirement, and further a workshop is arranged. So this was all about the DVF training calendar.
Ayushi ma'am, can we have the next poll?
Yeah, sure, Tanishka. So I'll be launching the next question. So the next poll question is, what is the year-on-year growth for online food business? So can all the participants guess that what is the growth for online food businesses? You can mark your answers in the poll itself. Okay, so I'll just close the poll now in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. So I'll be ending the poll now. So I'll share the results. So as I can see, most of the participants have guessed, 39% of the participants have guessed 50%. So however, the answer, Raj sir, would you like to disclose the answer?
Absolutely, absolutely. So it is all good, and it is nice to think that 20% or 50% or 100% growth rate hai. Lekin the answer for online food business year growth, which India is experiencing, is 150%. 150%. जो नॉर्मल फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्री की ग्रोथ है वो 20% है कंपाउंड एनुअल ग्रोथ रेट. So if you take the entire food sector, then the growth rate is 20% compound annual growth rate, which is very high. But if you talk about online markets, so online food businesses, the growth rate is 150% year on year. So congratulations to all of you who have given right answers. And back to you, Tanishka and Ayushi. Please keep it up.
Ashwina, now that we all know about certain courses are to be launched today, can you please brief me a bit about them?
Sure, Tanishka. I'll quickly make you all familiar with these courses. Today we are launching 3 courses. Let me start briefing you all about the first course, and then further my colleague shall also explain it in detail. Our very first course is Food Laws Online Certificate course, which comprises of 6 knowledgeable modules. This course basically covers all aspects of food laws, like production laws, regulation laws, IPR laws, and many more such laws. It is the world's first online certificate course on food laws, wherein you'll get an opportunity to interact with the experts. Coming to our next course, we have Food IPR Laws Online Certificate course. This valuable course consists of 6 knowledgeable modules. It is a great opportunity to excel in food IPR laws, and simultaneously, it is also a great networking opportunity. Under these courses, you will also be guided by a course coordinator who will always be available to resolve your queries.
Coming up to our last course, we have Food Labeling Laws Online Certificate course. The course comprises of 6 modules, including Introduction and Background of the Food Labeling Laws, Food Safety Standards Act 2006, Legal Metrology Act 2009, Indian Standards Act 2016, International Comparative Labeling, Labeling Issues Landmark Judgment. It would be a great opportunity to interact with the experts and enhance your network.
My colleagues will now discuss these courses with all of us in detail. First, I would like to call upon Ms. Ayushi Jain, who will enlighten us with the first course, that is Food Labeling Laws Online Certificate course.
Thank you, Ashwina. A very good evening to all. I'm going to be speaking to you all about the Food Labeling Laws Certificate course. Once, K. Fisher quoted that, first we eat, then we do everything else. In India, every packaged food article for consumption has to be labeled in accordance to the related Indian food laws notified by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, that is FSSAI. The food labeling is very important because the consumer should be able to understand the constituents of the food product. The food in it labels form a connecting link between the consumer and the producer through which manufacturer can tell the consumers about the food product. It's also a great way of advertising the product and attracting customers by highlighting the benefits of the product on the label. Next slide, please. The duration of the course is 3 months and it comprises of 6 modules. The course is open for the scientists, managers working in the food processing units and pharma producer companies or law management, agriculture students, professionals, lawyers, CA and CS, anyone else who wants to excel in the food laws. Next. Perks of the registrations, you will get to know about the opportunities to interact with the experts and will get the certificate after completion of the course also. There are 3 options. You can get yourself registered. First, for the HRD, has to fill the nomination form 2 and send it to the registrar. Tanishka, please shift to the next slide. Thank you. Second, for the self-registration, fill the form registration 1 along with the payment details. And third is online registration on the site dvf.in along with the requirements. Next, please. The course consists of 6 modules as follows. First module, Introduction and Background of Food Labeling Laws. Module 2, Food Labeling and Display in relation to the Food Safety Standards Act 2006. Module 3, Food Labeling in relation to Legal Metrology Act 2009. Module 4, Food Labeling in relation to the Bureau of Indian Standards Act 2016. Module 5, International Comparative Labeling. Module 6, Labeling Issues Landmark Judgments. The duration of the course is from July to September and the last date is 15th June 2021 for the registration. Next, please. The method of the study is to read, write, and discussion and orientation. In total, you'll get the 6 modules and will be shared to you in the 3 months. Next, please. The method of on the first Saturday of every month, you'll get also the opportunity to have a food dialogue with Mr. Raj Singh Sir. Next, please. Within 7 days of completion of the course, you can give MCQ test and it will be an open book test. Grading will also be done according to the marks. Next, please. Next. To get the final certificate, candidate will have to secure a total of 40%, which will be out of the monthly report submission 30% and a final exam 70%. Next. The fee for the candidates related to food processing units, pharma producer companies, and professional like lawyers, CA, CS is rupees 9,000. And for the law, agriculture, and management students, it is rupees 7,000. And for the international candidates, it is USD 290. Next, please. Next. In case you need to improve your grades, the course is having a re-examination policy also. Next, please. These are the sample certificates. Next, Nanishka. You can pay for the course in RTGS, NEFT, cash, demand draft, or check, or by the credit or the debit card. Next. The author of the course is Mr. Raj Singh Niranjan Sir, and he is the managing partner, Trans India Law Associates. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Ayushi Jain, for such worthy information about the course. I would now like to invite our honorable panelist, Dr. Lalita R. Goda, to enlighten us with the relevance and issues of labeling laws in the food sector and also share her views on the course.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This was something very new to me, to be this. So what I thought I would express my views on food labeling, which is very important. And as I see, your course is covering food labeling. One question I had is the basic qualification for this course is not described. And I feel when anyone deals with food or reading with the food laws, they should have a basic understanding on food constituents, what they do, etc. So we know that food labeling is very important because it is a communication between the manufacturer and the consumer. And this conveys to the consumer what is in the food. And in addition, any food labeling has to meet the legal requirement of the country where it is being produced. And if being exported, it must meet the regulation of the exporting country. Actually, if we look at food labeling, it serves three purposes. One, it tells you the name of the food, gives you the list of ingredients, etc., net quantity, and as I've heard you being saying that you will also have legal metrology act as well as Bureau of Indian Standards. The second major effect of having a food labeling is that it gives you information on the safety and the nutritional aspects of the food. And the last is it serves as a vignette or a source of information of the food manufacturer to do some advertising for his thing. One of the major requirements as I take food laws is food labeling is that any labeling that is provided, it should have truth in it and it should be an honest labeling, especially with the advertising and the claims that are being considered these days. Fortunate for us now, FSSA has come out with the advertising and claims regulation, which really do not allow the food manufacturers to make unwanted claims. I just finished taking a webinar from 3 to 4:15 to a group of people belonging to eMERC about the food labeling. And it was surprising that when we had a poll in the beginning, of course, there were 90% who said they read the labels. And then in the second poll, when I asked what it was they read on the label, I was surprised that 58% said it was the best before. But more surprising was there were only 11% who read the nutritional information, which is important for health and your well-being. And 0% said they did not even know about the list of ingredients. So therefore, it is really very important that the food labeling there has to be an awareness created in the country about the importance of food labeling. And as you presented the whole course and the modules of it, a suggestion I have, because I have seen this in the West, where certificate courses for food analysis or a public food analyst is provided, is that they need to submit a sort of a dissertation or a project where we asked them, especially in the UK, when I was a part of it, you ask them to submit a dissertation also about having about 50 to 75 food labels. They should collect that many labels, read the labels, put them into the dissertation, and then make an inference from the label whether it is meeting all the labeling regulations of the country. So this is a suggestion that I have, which could improve your course. And if I understand correctly, it looks as if this course is mainly tailored to people who are more into law and are specializing in food laws. So labeling is extremely important. Of course, all the claims that are being made, especially the health claims, of course, currently now India is not permitting the manufacturer to use a health claim unless it is approved by FSSAI. So there is a need for us, to have very stringent regulations for labeling. And more than labeling, the safety of the food is extremely important. And me, basically being a biochemist and having worked at the bench doing analysis for a very long time, I am of the strong opinion that the safety and the quality of food is very important. Of course, the labeling also, especially for the prepackaged food. So with this, I think I will just end my comments, but I hope you can take the suggestion I made on having the students a little practical approach to the training rather than it being only a theory course of 6 modules. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lalita ji. On behalf of Dr. Vijay Foundation and Trans India Law Associates, I thank you for joining us and look forward for your guidance in future also. Your suggestion is extremely important that if we can, instead of 3 assignments, if we can change it, or we can give an option to the candidate officers and candidates participating to maybe take few labels, if not 50, 60, maybe 10 labels in that assignment, and make inferences from there that whether this label is correct in terms of the labeling laws. That will be super. This is wonderful. So we will discuss it in academic council and take it forward surely. And I was lucky to, just before the lockdown, I visited this Central Food Technological Research Institute, Mysore, for the conference, and I'm blessed to hear you again, madam. Thank you so much. Back to you, Ayushi and team.
Thank you so much for your kind words, ma'am. So over to you, Tanishka and Ashwina.
Next, I would like to invite Mr. Ayush Garg, who will enlighten us with our second course, that is the Food Laws Online Certificate course in detail.
Thank you, Tanishka. Good evening to all. Today I'm going to brief on Food Laws Online Certificate course. This is the world's first online certificate course. The duration of this course is of 3 months. In these 3 months, you will be completing 6 modules. First one is Introduction and Background of Food Laws. Next is Food Production Laws, Food Processing Laws, Food Safety and Consumption Laws, Intellectual Property Rights for food production, processing and consumption. And the last one is Food Issues in India and Landmark Judgments. Next slide, please. Now, what are food laws? As we all know that national legal frameworks are a key pillar in an effective food control system. In all countries, food is governed by a compulsory and complexity of law and regulations. which set out the government's requirement to meet by food chain operators to ensure food safety and quality. Moving further, by enrolling in this course, you will get an opportunity to interact with the experts in the field of food laws. After the completion of this course successfully, you will get a certificate. Moving further, you will get an exclusive opportunity to join with dialogue with the Raj Singh sir. Moving further, Raj Singh Niranjan sir is an expert of food laws. He is also the managing partner of Trans India Law Associates. Next slide. When we talk about the eligibility, the food law online course is open for all the scientists, managers working in food processing units and farmer producer companies or law management agricultural students, professionals, lawyers, CACS, and anyone else who wants to excel in food laws can enroll in this course. Moving further, the duration of this course, as I've already mentioned, is 3 months. This course will be held 4 times in a year. The registration deadline for the batch of July to September is 15th of June. The first batch is from January to March, for which the registration deadline is 15th of December. Second one is from April to June, for which the deadline is 15th of March. The third one is from July to September. The registration deadline for the same is 15th of June. And the last one is from October to December. The registration deadline for the same is 15th of September. Moving further, we will share 2 modules each month. Then you have to submit an article on any one of the topic from each module every month. Moving further, when we talk about the exam, you will have to give an exam after the completion of course within 7 days. The exam will have 70 MCQs of 1 mark each, which have to be answered online. Time duration of the exam is 35 minutes, and the final exam will be of open book examination, and there will be no negative marking. You will be awarded grades according to your performance. If you score between 85 to 100, you will be graded A. If you score marks between 70 to 85, you will be graded B, and so on. Moving further, for the next slide, please. For the eligibility criteria of certificate, you have to secure a total of 40% out of the monthly report submission and a final exam. 3 monthly submissions of 10 marks each. Moving further, the fee structure for professionals, lawyers, chartered accountants, company secretaries is 9,000. For scientists, managers in food processing unit is also rupees 9,000. For the students of law, agriculture and management, it would be rupees 7,000. And for international candidate, it is rupees 290 US. We have also the policy of re-examination. You can give re-examination in the following given conditions. Moving further, this course has been certified by Niti Aayog. This is the sample certificate. You can register through www.dvf.in, or you can also fill a registration form number 1, and send it along with the payment details or demand draft to the Register of Dr. Vijay Foundation. While registering online, you have a passport size photograph, e-signature, and ID of the organization or your institutions. We have various mode of payments, like you can pay through RTGS, NEFT, cash deposit, demand draft, or you can pay through debit or credit card. For further contact details, you can reach us on this WhatsApp number. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ayush Garg, for such a valuable information about the course. I would now like to invite our honorable panelist, Dr. Mamta Mishra, to present her views on food laws. First,
Mamta ma'am, do we have you?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? I have switched on the video
Yes.
as well as
Yes, ma'am.
unmuted
Yes.
myself.
Tanishka?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you. Ma'am, I would like to ask you about few things.
Sure.
Firstly, ma'am, can you please enlighten us on how different is the FSSAI from the old law and how does this impact the system?
First of all, a warm good evening to all of you. It's so wonderful to be here, and congratulations to Tila on this launch. A special good evening to Dr. Lalita Gowda. She's an inspiration for all of us, and also Rajji. I've been following him. He's doing some wonderful work, and it's great to be with all of you today. Um, yeah, this question of, has with the new law FSSAI coming in and, you coming up with a course, how important has this been, the transition from the old laws to the new, law? See, food is basic. It's a human right, as per the Universal Declaration. Under Article 25, human beings have the right to nutritious and safe food. And obviously, when we look at a large population like India, which is like 138 crores, feeding a population like this is definitely a challenge. And it is very critical at this point, to have an authority which can support. So when we look at the old laws, there were multiple of them, over the 1950s to till as recent as 2000s. We have had different laws, and specifically on food, we had the FPO law order. We had the prevention of food adulteration, meat food products order. We had the solvent extract oil, milk and milk products, certain consumer essential, commodities act, which covered certain essential food items. So we had various different laws, and there was a lot of challenges in terms of implementation of these laws, in terms of enforcement, also ease of business. When we spoke about the opportunity, and Rajji was talking about the opportunity that India has in terms of productivity. We are just at 10% of export, and China is at 30%, which means that it's not just the productivity, but also the efficiency. There's so much more that is required when it comes to food industry as such, the sector. And when we talk about the old laws, definitely there were a lot of challenges in terms of trading, nationally and internationally. And of course, there were gaps in terms of, say, the consumer interaction in terms of the food sector. So there were various challenges that were, experienced. And coming up of, the Food Safety and Standards Act in 2006 was a very, very essential change that was being looked at. One, because it brought in a single control, for all the various activities in food sector, and food sector is really large. So in terms of the kind of enforcement or implementation of the previous laws, when we talk about, it's not been very uniform. Like, for example, when we talk about certain acts, they were not very uniformly implemented across, which meant that FSSA also brought in a standardization in terms of the way it was implemented in various states across India, from a boundary standpoint, geography standpoint, and also the science-based approach, which means that the structure. So when we talk about food, I'm sure Dr. Lalita ma'am also will accept that the very critical requirement in transparency and traceability. We always look at whether it's safety and quality. These two become a very essential part of the system, and FSSAI is very beautifully structured this. And like she was talking about, labeling, having a transparency and honesty in what the product really contains, to be displayed on the label. Yes, FSSAI is depending on the food business operator to be honest, where we're talking about self-regulatory system. But FSSA also has, in the last couple of months, last couple of years, brought in system for surveillance and systems which, confirm the safety and quality through, food and water testing mandatory requirements, where every 6 months they have to be tested. Apart from that, also audits, where third-party audits, mandatory trainings, where every one person in 25 should be, certified from FSSAI under the FOSTAC program. So there are various aspects that have been taken care of with FSSAI being brought in. It's the new demands, it's the new requirement. And apart from that, also the beautiful part about FSSAI is the involvement that it has brought in from the not just the regulators who are kind of working on adopting the international standards and how it can be made to suit to the local requirements, but also bringing in the industry together, the research bodies together, and like I said, also bringing in the consumers together. The number of programs that are being now launched by FSSAI on health, like Eat Right movements, hygiene rating, these show that there is a huge responsibility that FSSAI is showing to the consumers. And the other important aspect which I really think is really good is the fast track movement in which the cases are being held, discussed and dealt with. So I think it's a very beautiful structure, and this gradual transformation that the law has undergone in India is remarkable.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very informative and clear. Now, can you please tell us that how are food laws impacting at international and national level on business and people?
Uh, like Raj sir just shared, that by 2025 we're looking at a $500 billion food industry in India. And if you look at just the most recent GDP, you will see that close to 19% to 20% is coming from agriculture, around out of which around close to 4 to 5% is coming from animal and livestock, which means that this is something which is nationally and internationally. Like India is one of the major suppliers of beef and meat. So when we talk about all this, it means that at an international level and at a national level, from a business standpoint, this becomes very, very critical. And also within India, if you look at it, like we looked at, the population, we will be actually globally feeding around 9.7 billion population by 2050. And also from a sector standpoint, food sector production standpoint, what we produced in 2012 is required to double up by 2050. But the strip of land that we have is not going to change. It's still the same piece of land. It's only the population which is increasing, which means the production capacity has to increase, which means that the production efficiency has to increase, which means wastage has to reduce, which means we need to be coming up with systems which are going to be very innovative, which can really bring and save the planet. And why do we say that? This is because when we're talking about productivity increase, it doesn't it could mean that farmers are looking at introducing more chemicals into it, which could be which could be for growth, which could be for quality, which could be for many other reasons, for including the animal stock. So it is very essential at this point to actually look at an approach nationally and internationally to ensure that we are able to produce as much as we require in a safe way. And this is the reason why WHO has introduced this system called as One Health approach. And what One Health approach is talking about is, don't think of your business, in silos. And especially in food business, it becomes very essential that we also include the plants, animal, the environment all into consideration. Because if you're going to be, kind of releasing any kind of effluents into environment, it is definitely going to reach, all parts of ecosystem directly, indirectly, and ultimately the health is going to be affected. So both at national and international level, with food laws, this is very essential and very serious. We have to consider a very new approach, which is a multidimensional, multidisciplinary approach, where we involve all stakeholders and bring about this awareness of how each business can work. And this is where the food laws become very important, where if you're going to demand a certain chemical free raw material, chemicals, of course, you cannot say no to it, but there are systems which are safe, and technology is growing so fast. So if this is regulated, it is enforced, in the food laws are more practical, and like, for example, you cannot have just a list given out which is not practically doable, saying I don't want these contaminants. If ultimately, if everyone can be influenced, then this can be a game changer, because the way the entire system is headed, it calls for a complete, regulated approach.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that information. Now, can you please enlighten us on how TILA has designed a curriculum on food laws? How important is it to understand food laws?
Food laws is very, very important. And I think, like I said, I congratulate Tila on this beautiful course that you have come up with. Like I said, we cannot work in silos. It is always important that we all come together and we learn about each other. And what I saw about, the course curriculum is that it does not just cover FSSAI, it covers so many other laws which are connected to food. And I think that is so important today. From the history till date, the dynamic changes that are happening, the challenges, and the case studies that you have put together. And I feel that as a specialist, and I see this lacking in many of the businesses, is that they are afraid of the law, as to how how do I implement this, or this is very difficult. But it is not so. If you're able to interpret the law, and if you're able to kind of create the right awareness, then I think there is no fear at all. You can very comfortably conduct your business. And also with food business, one of the most important aspect is in case something goes wrong, the loss of faith, the loss of trust, it takes years and years for you to bring the trust of a consumer into food. So when we talk about food, it is a lot more than what we see. When you pick up a product, it's not about just it's just not a mere biscuit. It is the emotions attached to it, the trust attached to particular packet of biscuit, which probably you've eaten for the last 50 years or 20 years or 15 years of your life. So it becomes very important that the specialists understand this need. And I see that this is something which is going to be in great demand, and this course can really help people understand their business better, and have a system which can make them proud, and grow, most importantly grow, because this is a growing area, and this is immense opportunity for people who are ready to evolve with the changes. So congratulations to all of you, and especially to Raji for coming up with such a beautiful course.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words.
Thank you, Dr. Mamta ji. Thank you for addressing all of us, and thank you for encouraging words. And your guidance has already always been with Dr. Vijay Foundation. So there are a lot of challenges in food sector, and whatever promises, see, government is doing its best actually to help the industry. But then, as a private participation, it is important that we also contribute. So one interesting statistics, Mamtaji, I was reading is that if the government has limited amount of funds, if those funds are invested for in the industrial sector and same funds are invested in agriculture sector, if it is invested in agriculture and food sector, the poverty will reduce by 2 to 3 times more than when the investment is in industrial sector. So there is more impact in society when the funds for development are invested in food and agriculture sector. It reaches out to more people and it has more positive impact, whether it is nutritional impact or hunger or health impact. So thank you so much for your blessings and look forward to working with you in years to come. Back to you, Ayushi and Tanishka, please continue.
Thank you, sir. I look forward to as well.
Ayushi ma'am, can we have the poll now?
Sure. So now we'll have the last poll for the session. And I'll be sharing the question. So the third poll question is, which sector gives maximum employment in India? So after all this discussion, I think this is quite an easy question. So the options are railway sector, power sector, food and agriculture sector, tourism sector. So now I'll close the poll in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'll just end the poll now. Okay, I'll share the results. Okay, so Raj sir.
That's wonderful. So everyone is right actually. 89%, almost 90% of people have said that food and agriculture sector is the highest employer in India and worldwide. And if we specialize in that sector, we will not be without job in our entire life actually. And if we have those kind of qualification where we can serve the food and agriculture industry, it will be very, very useful to the society as well as it is professionally profitable actually. So back to you, Ayushi. Correct.
Yeah, Tanishka, let's move on with the last presentation.
Yes, ma'am. I would now like to call upon Ms. Ayushi Jain, who would enlighten us with the third course, that is food IPR.
Tanishka, sorry to interrupt. Can you be a bit louder? Your voice is very feeble.
Yes, ma'am. I would now like to call upon Ms. Ayushi Jain, who would enlighten us with the third course, that is Food IPR Laws Online Certificate course in detail.
Thank you, Tanishka. A very good evening to all. I'm going to be speaking to you all about the Food IPR Law Certificate course. Microsoft founder Bill Gates said, intellectual property has the shelf life of a banana. What if the food sector businesses are not protected? If not, then its value can be stolen, lost, or can be diminished also. For the food sector industry, it is no longer what we eat, how we eat, and how it is made. It is also the scientific and related technologies surrounding our food. Through its widespread involvement in an impact on a number of industries. Not surprisingly, it has also become one of the most competitive industries in the last 2 decades. If we look for every food sector businesses, from startup to multinational, has some form of intellectual property. It is rightly said, if cooking is an art, then to protect it, one needs IPR protection. Next, please, Tanishka. Next, the duration of of the course is 3 months and comprises of 6 modules. And the course is open for scientists, managers working in the food processing units and pharma producer companies or law, management and agriculture student, professionals, lawyers, CSCS, and anyone else who want to excel in food laws. The perks of the registration: you all will get the opportunity to interact with the experts and will get the certificate after the completion of the course, and you'll also get the networking opportunity amongst all. First, next please. The first registration process, the first self-registration, fill in registration form 1 along with the payment details, and second is online registration on the site dvf.in along with the requirements. Next please. The course consists of 6 modules as follows. The module first, IPR in the food industry. Module 2, geographical indicators. Module 3, plant variety. Module 4, trademark. Module 5, copyright, design and patents for food sector. Module 6, food and the trade secrets. The duration of the current course is from July to September, and the last date is 15th June for the registration. Next, please. On the first Saturday of every month, you will also get the opportunity to have a food dialogue with the Mr. Raj Singh. So, next. To get the final certificate, candidate will have to secure a total of 40%, which will be out of monthly report submission 30%, and a final exam 70%. Next, please. As a final point, I would like to conclude that intellectual property is playing an important, ever-expanding role for businesses looking to acquire an edge over their competitors. Over to you, Tanishka.
Over to you, Ashwina.
Thank you, Ms. Ayushi Jain, for such kind words. I would now like to invite Ms. Ayushi Dikshit to present her illuminating views and ideas.
Thank you so much, Ashwina, for giving me the opportunity to be a part of such informative webinar. So talking about the IPR laws in the food industry, it's rightly said that IPR's life is like that of a banana. And as we have discussed, the food industry is growing, and the food industry through its widespread impacts the involvement of a number of industries, basically that including of packaging, production, farming, etc., has become the world's largest industry. And it is needless to say that it has also become the most competitive industry, with numerous businesses trying to gain an edge over their rivals. And for achieving their goals, basically food companies are expediting considerable amount of resources in creating, developing and promoting their distinctive brands and developing them, and increasing they're increasing the look towards IP protection as a tool to establish or maintain their dominance in the field. So I'll just quickly discuss an overview of IP protection and what are the different options that are available with the food processors. So I'll start from patents. If we discuss about patents, so the type of patents which are relevant in food industry majorly are the utility patents. And any patent that is granted in the food industry is based on the novelty or the original creation. It should be non-obvious creation. It should have utility. And as basically the patent has a utility, like duration, patents are registered for a duration of 20 years. So there are like numerous patents that have been registered in the food sector, and that is a very important aspect in the food industry. Now moving towards, if I discuss another intellectual property, another mode of intellectual property, I'll discuss the trademarks. So firstly, to describe what trademarks are: any word, symbol, logo, or their combination which helps in identifying and differentiating products or goods and services are basically trademarks. And they include not just the name, packaging, symbol. Basically any trademark is the identity of the project, like the product. So the trademark, they include, they're not just limited to the name, packaging, symbol, but they also have the history and reputation of the brand. As Mamta ma'am recently mentioned, that it is not just about the biscuit that we are eating, it is about the emotions that are there with the biscuits. So trademark makes sure that basically these emotions are preserved. So trademark plays an important role in consumers' choice in purchase decisions by acting as a binding factor. Now, if I move on and discuss the copyright aspect, so copyright is basically exclusive protection that is granted to creators for their work. In food industry, copyright are very difficult to obtain, and it is difficult to prove who is the first and original creator of the recipe or all of the product. Therefore, the recipes do not have copyright protection. But if we discuss, like if we are discussing the relevance of copyright in the food sector, the cookbooks and digital content like the blogs and the websites that are there with Times, they have copyright protection. So yeah. Now moving towards the trade secret. Trade secrets are basically they are in the food sector, like food industry. The knowledge, the formula, recipe, which is basically usually unknown to the public at large, are comes in the within the ambit of trade secret. And I'll just mention here that the trade secrets do not expire, but they can be lost if discovered or released or revealed. So there are various trade secrets or recipes that are protected in the form of patents, since patents basically provide much more protection to any particular IP, particular recipe. And the last intellectual property that I'll be discussing would be the designs, which again plays a very important, they're as relevant as the trademarks, since like, for example, if I just explain, the design are basically the right to apply to the exterior appearance of the any product. So for example, if we take an example of Kit Kat, like the sticks, in the way they are presented, that is a design. Then the bottles of different beverages, that are all designed, they're registered, and to get any design registered, there are certain criteria that need to be fulfilled. So any industry that they're planning to get their designs registered, there are certain criteria, certain knowledge that they need to have. And to obtain any design rights, like there are certain conditions that they need to fulfill that are inclusive of that they should be fresh and new original designs. Obviously, the design should be applicable to the article, the design should be not obvious, and there should be no earlier disclosure of the design as well. So these are all the intellectual property rights which I see that have also been discussed in the modules in the course itself. So just concluding, I'll say that intellectual property plays an ever expanding role for the business looking to acquire an edge over their competitors. And with the prominence of social media influencers and marketing in the buying behavior, food business are racing to differentiate themselves by applying innovation to shape, material, color, taste, and they're all trying to differentiate their products from other. So hence, I just believe that having such informative course is like, it gives us very detailed knowledge on IPR laws, and during current times, it is really the need of an hour. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for such valuable words.
I would now like to I would now like to invite Raj sir for vote of thanks.
First of all, thank you, Ayushi, for organizing such a wonderful event. And your team was super brilliant, especially Ayushi, Tanishq, and Ayush Garg. All three of you did very, very well. I would like to ask one question to all the audience actually. So, आपके घर में अगर कोई भूखा है, if somebody is hungry in your house, चाहे वो छोटा भाई हो या छोटी बहन हो या फिर maybe your grandfather is hungry, और आपके घर में खाना भी है, तो आप उसको खाना दोगे कि नहीं दोगे? Will you feed that person or not? He's, after all, he's your relative. He's living with.
Can give.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's wonderful, Akshar.
Thank you,
but this
sir,
is not
for
happening.
your appreciation.
Yes, yes. But this is not happening in the world. Challenge ye hai, take the world as a family. What is happening in the world? Let me tell you. Food and Agriculture Organization says that 194 million Indians go hungry. Number one fact. Second is, अगर आप harvest and post-harvest losses of agriculture produce देखेंगे, it is $14 billion. That means Indian rupee 92,000 crore rupees is lost. Value of food is lost. एक तरफ 194 million people in India are hungry, and दूसरी तरफ Lalita ji and Dr. Mamta ji, just see the irony of the situation. कि एक तरफ 194 million people are hungry, and दूसरी तरफ there is harvest and post-harvest losses in agriculture produce, and food to alag hi. Then you add food, then the figure becomes more than that actually. So hunger bhi hai yahan pe, food bhi yahan pe, and 14% of the Indian population is malnourished. So 14 billion you lose, and then 14% malnourished. And science and technology, the expert there, Dr. Mamta is there and Dr. Lalita is there. Science and technology is available to preserve that food which is going wasted actually. So if we apply the concept of food processing, if we apply the concept of the technology available in the modern world, we can preserve and protect that food and move forward. Acha, one more thing is there. You all are professional and you are all educated people, whether you are lawyers, whether you are agriculture scientists, or you are engineers, or I see a lot of professionals. In fact, I would like to thank the officers from Nestle, Pepsi, Unilever, Kisan, LT Foods. These officers have given, because of the inputs from these officers, especially these companies, Amul, Ruchi Soya, Parle Agro, Britannia, Dairies, LT Foods. So these officers told me, कि sir, ये food loss ka, it is under examined, under studied, and we don't know what is the appropriate right forum to study these laws in a simple language so that we can apply it in our industry, in food processing industry. So second thanks, first thanks to मैंने दिया आयुषी और उनकी team को. Second thanks है मेरा clients को and people from the industry who have said that ये pain areas हैं हमारे, and we don't get appropriate manpower who can handle these issues actually. So it is important if Raj Singh Niranjan ji, you can start courses on that. So second thanks to that. अब मैं let me come to that concept of hunger and the availability of food. आपके घर में कोई भूखा भी है और आपके घर में खाना भी है. सिर्फ आपको उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना है, प्रिजर्व करना है by using modern technologies. Scientists are expert. They are ready to help all of you actually. So the answer, what should we do? That is the question. So we said that in Dr. Vijay Foundation, we said we will not be silent spectator, number one. Secondly, we also decided that we will not blame anyone. It is very easy to blame the government, state government, and the UN, and everybody is doing their bit to improve the situation. Let us all become part of this. Let us all learn. Let us all develop capacity. Let us contribute our bit, and then educate people. And maybe start. Maybe all of you should become entrepreneurs in food sector and start your food processing industry with confidence. कि लॉ मुझे पता है सारा का सारा, मेरे को आईपीआर पता है, मैं अपनी आईपीआर को प्रोटेक्ट कर सकता हूँ, जो भी मैं मेहनत करता हूँ वो मेरे काम आएगी, नंबर वन. सेकेंडली, आई नो if I want to do packaging, and this is one of the biggest business, I know I am doing the right packaging and I am complying with all the laws which are required. So with these three courses, we have tried to resolve this problem. Let me, Ayushi was also asking me one question. He said, why should we study food laws? भाई और भी तो लॉ है, सिविल प्रोसीजर कोड पढ़ लेता हूँ या something else I can study. Why should we study food laws? So Ayushi, my answer is clear. Number one, zero hunger should be there in the nation, and this will contribute to zero hunger. I have already told the statistics. Second is, सिर्फ ये social work नहीं है भाई. It has revenues. It has professional. You will be employed throughout your life. Social work तो ठीक है, छोड़ दो भाई. Let us assume I want to do professional work. So no worries. You see the opportunity. This is the sector which is growing with 20% compound annual growth rate, which is the highest. ठीक है? और अगर सिर्फ आप ऑनलाइन, आजकल के जो यूथ है, they are very good in aggregating and doing online business. The online food business is growing at 150 percentage year on year. I was also surprised to see that figure actually. So see the potential and growth in the sector. उसके बाद आप एक चीज देखो, the question, why should we study food laws? So now the time has come in India for industrialization of food production. So there was a time when there was an industrialization of food production in Europe and then North America, and China is going through that industrialization. Because the next area, the next country where industrialization of food production will happen in next 7 to 8 to 10 years is India actually. India has the market also. India has the capacity to become self-reliant also. India has brilliant people like you also. Okay. So अब आप बोलोगे कि सर मैं तो प्रोफेशनल बनना चाहता हूँ, सोशल की आपने बात कर ली, कहाँ कहाँ मैं वर्क कर सकता हूँ? So there are 5 areas where you can help the food industry. First is जो manufacturing food का करता है, help them. Second is area is whoever is storing food, help them. Third is whoever is distributing food, help them. Fourth is whoever is selling the food, help them. And fifth area is whoever is importing food, you can help them by studying these laws, actually, these 3 courses. So these 5 areas are the pain points of the industry, and you can help the industry in these 5 areas. So जब मैं industrialization of food production बोलता हूँ तो लगता है बहुत बड़ा word है, लेकिन जब industrialization में these are the 5 areas which food industry is composed of actually. And food industry में don't think कि सिर्फ गांव जाकर के मुझे farmer producer organization के साथ deal करना. They are one component in the food industry and they are important component. But hospitality sector, it is all 5-star hotels and very, very big resorts. They also need food laws. Abhi COVID ke time pe I heard that lot of people are ordering for European and North American chips, and the cost of those chips, and it's very high. They're all high value packets. Small packet, it is costing around 700-600 rupees actually. And our Indian entrepreneurs are competent and capable to manufacture those things. Why not we help them to manufacture those things actually with all the confidence? Second area, food processing industry. Hospitality sector के बारे में तो आपने बोल दिया sir, 5-star hotels and resorts and all. But food processing industry, so it's a very, very big thing actually. Third is always food farmer producer organization and agriculture sector. So this is one of the biggest upcoming opportunities. And remember, when we are working in the food sector, we have a duty of care. Duty of care, जैसे डॉक्टर ममता जी ने बोला कि ये ड्यूटी ऑफ केयर हमें कंज्यूमर्स की तरफ भी है, ड्यूटी ऑफ केयर हमें अपने क्लाइंट्स की तरफ भी है, अपनी गवर्नमेंट की तरफ भी है. एंड दीज ड्यूटी, अब जब कोई बोलता है ड्यूटी ऑफ केयर तो बड़ा वाइड वर्ड है ड्यूटी ऑफ केयर. ड्यूटी ऑफ केयर का सिंपल स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड मतलब ये है, ऑल द लॉ शुड बी अप्लाइड. They have been designed by a lot of research, by a lot of work by scientists, by a lot of understanding discussions. So let us apply all the law and spirit, and your duty of care का जो आपका concept है apply हो जाएगा actually. So firstly, I would like to thank Ayushi and her team, Ayush and Tanishq. Obviously, secondly, I would like to thank all our clients. Okay, so I think so there was some technical issue. So I would also like to thank Ministry of Food Processing Industry and Ministry of Agriculture, where I learned a lot of basics of food laws. And most important, my thanks to Dr. Mamta Mishra ji, Dr. Lalita Gowda ji. Very special thanks to you for joining in the event. And look forward to interacting with you and working with you, Dr. Mamta ji and Dr. Lalita ji. So Ayushi, with this, back to you. And Ayushi, tell me, what is the last date for registration of these 3 courses?
Sure, sir. So the last date for registration for all the 3 courses is 15th of June.
So almost there is, 72 hours. The registrations will close in 72 hours. So all of you who are interested in registering, you can go ahead with the registration process. I see one question from Mr. Shah. As industry person, which course is best for me and why and how it's useful to us? And what are the criteria for joining the course? All right. So firstly, if somebody is entering the food business, I will recommend the basic flagship course, which is called Laws Online Certificate course, because it will cater to all the basic necessities and requirements for a food person who wants to enter a food processing industry to learn and understand the food laws. But then if you are diversifying, for example, आप एक food product बना रहे हैं और आप diversify कर रहे हैं 2, 3, 4, 5 products में, and then you have to do a lot of packaging for different projects, then I will recommend the food labeling at the second stage. And besides this, if you are creating a brand, and that is a very important aspect, if you have devised or designed some brand and you want to protect that brand should serve you for rest of your life or for your next generation, then food IPR laws becomes very important. So first, if somebody wants to understand basic food laws, then Mr. Shah, hope I have answered the question. If you want, you can ask any other question. So if anybody, our team of experts is here, if anybody has any questions, you can ask now. And otherwise, Ayushi is available always as a coordinator to all of us. Back to you, Ayushi.
Sure. So the screen displays all the contact information. And if anyone wants to register, you can write a mail to ceo@dvf.in, or you can directly visit our website, that is www.dvf.in, or you can contact by WhatsApping at the given number as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, team.
Yeah. So last, Ayushi, I want to add one more thing.
Yes,
see, I am the managing partner of Trans India Law Associates. So the Dr. Vijay Foundation is our CSR venture. So effectively, I donate to Dr. Vijay Foundation. Whatever course contribution will come will not be used for any commercial purposes. It will be used for capacity building in the industry, number one. And it will be used for agri-food. The motto of the Dr. Vijay Foundation is agri-food revolution. So मैंने बात करी है hunger की. So it will be invested there only, number one. So we don't, TILA does not want any funds from you. It will everything, whatever contribution you give, it will go to Dr. Vijay Foundation directly, in fact. Secondly, one more thing, government has given exemption to Dr. Vijay Foundation. So एक तो number one, GST नहीं लगेगा. आप जो फीस लिखिए वही फीस है total, number one. Secondly, GST is not applicable. Third is, whatever fees you are contributing, उसका एक certificate मिलेगा आपको, which is tax exempted. So जो आप टैक्स अपने दे रहे हैं, उस अपने सीए को वो सर्टिफिकेट दे दीजिएगा कि मैंने उस कोर्स के लिए कुछ पैसे दिए थे, ये सर्टिफिकेट है मेरे पास. आपको अपने जो पैसे हैं उनमें भी पूरा टैक्स एग्जेम्पशन मिलेगा. So the government is also very happy to support these kinds of initiatives. And with this, maybe I hand it over to Ayushi.
Also, I'd like to add that there are 99 seats in each batch. So register now. So over to you, Tanishka.
Yes, ma'am. Ashwina?
No. Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. So we have one more question in the chat box. Let me just read it out. For joining food law course, what kind of knowledge must we have? Does marketing knowledge is enough for joining food law course? So Raj sir, I would like you to address and request you to address the given question.
See, marketing knowledge is sufficient, actually, no worries. If somebody is planning to work for a food industry, this course will be valuable to him. If somebody is planning to start a food industry, this course is valuable to him. If somebody is planning to become entrepreneur in the food industry, this course is valuable to him. So 30% of all the startups, if you notice and if you see the statistics, 30% of all the startups are food industry, food sector startups. So I don't know what is the background of Mr. Akshat who has asked this question. But then I hope I have answered.
My background is about law, and I am asking related question that if we want to do course, what kind of extra knowledge we have? Can we also have knowledge related to marketing or related to like labeling of food? Just now in this someone had explained about it. This much knowledge is enough, or we have to learn more in detail about something related to food? How does food package? How much agriculture is there? This kind of question.
See, remember this thing, in courses में marketing नहीं सिखाई जाएगी. we will be focusing, see, marketing knowledge you must be having with your prior experience, or you must have done some other degree actually. In these courses, we'll focus more on food laws and food. See, law is comprising of 5 parts actually. First is constitution, second is acts made by the parliament, third is rules made by the government, fourth is regulations made by the regulatory authority like FSSAI, and fifth is administrative notification. So we will focus on law actually.
Okay, okay. But
Yeah.
I have
So-
also studied about this labeling process, which they had explained in marketing also. I have studied this labeling process.
Yeah.
Also.
So whatever you are marketing में यहाँ पे we are talking more of protection actually.
Okay,
तो आपने
okay.
एक लोगो बनाया और उस लोगो को आपने 10 साल लोगों को चलाया और किसी ने कॉपी करके अगर यूज करना शुरू कर दिया. So for example, Haldiram. So
Yeah.
they have worked for 30-40 years in the sector, and suddenly somebody stands up and starts another Haldiram. So how will they protect their brand? So that will be provided in the course of food IPR actually. So you can protect your trade.
This copyright ताकि ना हो इसीलिए.
Correct. Copyright है trade secret. अब जो कोका कोला है उसका ट्रेड सीक्रेट है, उसने अपना जो भी बनाया है, nobody knows about it. So how to protect the trade secret actually?
Okay.
How to protect the trade secret? How to protect the patent? Food patents. How to protect geographical indication? रसगुल्ला जो है जिसका डिस्प्यूट हुआ था, या हल्दी का डिस्प्यूट हुआ था, बासमती राइस का. सो पंजाब को छोड़ के कोई कर्नाटका से बासमती राइस यूज करने लगा, बट इट इज नॉट अलाउड. एक स्पेसिफिक एरिया होता है geographical indication. So all those laws will be clear actually.
Okay, I
So
have
if-
also heard the same copy thing that earlier Pepsi logos are also like the logos of Coca-Cola. I have observed in 1880s, in earlier times. This is also a copy of Pepsi logo with Coca-Cola. This I have also already observed, sir. This kind
Absolutely.
of copyright.
Okay. Thank you so much for Akshat and Mr. Shah for asking wonderful questions. And okay, Ayushi, back to you.
No problem, sir.
Thank you, sir, for addressing the question. Towards the end of the webinar, I'd like to thank all of you for giving your precious time and coming down to attend this event.
I want to express my gratitude for your presence, and I also hope that you will soon register for these utmost knowledgeable courses. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.